Welcome to St. John Newman Church. We're so glad you're here. Today is the 29th Sunday in Ordinary Time.
Hello and welcome to St. John Newman Parish. I'm Father Mark, the pastor here, if you didn't already know. And this weekend we have the pleasure of welcoming Father Richard Fragamini, who will be leading our parish mission. And this weekend it starts, but it continues till Wednesday. So I hope you all can take part of this mission, and I look forward to seeing you at the different events. I wanted to just talk to you kind of heart to heart today about things that have been going on in the world. 2 weeks ago, when the Hamas terror attack occurred and the incursion into Israel, I was away at a conference. It's a unique perspective in that I was away at a conference for the Equestrian Order of the Holy Sepulchre of Jerusalem. This particular group of people, it's a papal organization, have been kind of put together by invitation, and we're all about supporting the Holy Land, supporting the people there, the Christians there, and the shrines there, but most importantly, the people. And I was at that conference, and it was horrible waking up in the morning to the reports of this conflict, this war, and knowing that people that I perhaps met were cowering under beds because of shelling. And I'm sure for you, all of you, you've seen this on the news. You've seen it played out. You've seen people taking sides, political people. And we have to confront once again, as whenever we hear about ruthless warmongers killing people, innocents, we're confronted with the problem of evil in the world, and it makes us ask big questions. And for some people, it can actually be a test of faith. The problem of evil in the world, it's because God doesn't control us. We're not automatons. God has given us the gift of free will, and hopefully we desire wisdom, we desire truth, we desire what's pure, and hopefully we try to grow closer to God, right? Those are the good people. Unfortunately, there are the people who choose to go the other way, that are infatuated with power, the worldly, what they can get, and they participate in evil. And the extreme evil we've been seeing playing out, not only in the Holy Land, but around in Africa, as well as in Ukraine, is devastating to witness. And we could turn just a blind eye to it and deny it, because sometimes it's more comfortable to live in denial because it's just so much, it's overwhelming. But I think God is asking us to once again confront this problem of evil in the world. And, the problem of evil isn't something that is relegated only to Ukraine or Palestine or Israel or any other far-flung area of the world. I think sometimes we just like to point. But the problem of evil is very much alive here in Las Vegas, in Nevada, in North Las Vegas, or even our parish community here, unfortunately. And when we get reports of horrible things happening, we're stunned, right? We were catapulted into disbelief. And sometimes we have to work through it. Yeah, we work through it. We do the hard work of struggling through it, especially if it personally touches us. But with the evil that we're seeing around the world, it reminds us once again that we're not powerless in all this. We may think we're powerless, but we can never forget the power of prayer. Pope Francis himself said we need to spend time in front of the tabernacle. And basically he's saying we need to spend time when we're hurting, when we're conflicted, with Jesus in prayer. So that can be here in front of the tabernacle or in the worship space or even in your bedroom at home. But his point is that when we feel most vulnerable, when we're confused, we should spend time with Jesus. And we shouldn't be afraid to pray ardently for peace, not only around the world, but in our own community. Another thing I want you to think about is working for peace. What does that look like, to do the hard work for working for peace? You might be thinking I'm saying, oh, yeah, become an advocate and go to the UN and fight for world peace. No, sometimes the harder work is the work we have to do within ourselves. You know, the hard work of striving to be a Christian in all things. This past week, we had the feast day of Ignatius of Antioch. He was the third bishop of Antioch. And in the early church, he died, he was martyred in the year 107, I think. But he was being taken to Rome to be killed, basically, to be thrown in the Colosseum, to be devoured by lions or other wild beasts. But in all of it, his heart was at peace. And in that great saint, we can see that even though we're seeing all the conflict in the world, as we're seeing possibly conflict in our communities or even in our homes, the hard work is to be people united with Christ and to have peace in our hearts so that we don't get enraptured by evil people, getting raptured by pitting people against each other, not trying to see the larger context of what's going on. And that's what I want to challenge all of us to do, is to spend time in these weeks to come, because this war isn't going to end anytime soon. We're going to continue to see it played out in the carnage. It's going to be devastating. But that in our hearts, we need to be looking for peace. We always need to fight for justice and what is right. We need to fight against evil. But first, we must always strive to be people of peace so that we don't get into a frenzy and do things that we know we would later regret or that we would not be proud of. And so I want to encourage you all to spend time with the Lord, to get lost with him, as Pope Francis says, and to do the hard work of confronting those things in your own heart that don't promote peace, and to allow the healing balm of Christ to help you, to heal you, so you may know freedom from those motives. May God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful mission this week with Father Richard Fragamini.
Please pray for the repose of the soul of Helen Kuhn, whose funeral mass will be on Saturday, October 28th at 1 p.m. Congratulations on a very successful special meal at Catholic Charities on October 11th. We raised over $7,000. Thank you to our volunteers who cheerfully served the meal and were perfect ambassadors of the hospitality and generosity that is our SJN trademark. Congratulations also to our Disciples on Mission Ministry who managed this special meal project. Would you help us provide those in need the ingredients for a beautiful holiday table for their loved ones? With over 160 households now visiting our pantry, there are many in need. Announcing our annual Thanksgiving food drive November 4th and 5th and 11th and 12th. Look for this feature in the bulletin for details. This Friday, it's time for St. Parade Trunk or Treat. We still need trunks, so sign up your trunk in the gathering space. And treats. We'll take your candy donations in the gathering space. See you on Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. What makes a house a home? That's what we'll be learning at this year's Fall Parish Mission, a new home for the body of Christ, on October 23rd through 25th, presented by Father Richard Fragamini. On the mornings of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday after the 8 o'clock Mass, we'll have like a mini mission where we explore the encyclical letter by John Paul II entitled Ecclesia de Eucharistia. Our evening sessions, which take place on the same Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, will begin with a light hospitality served at 6:30 p.m. At 7 o'clock, the mission begins in the worship space. Our Monday topic will be water and fire, Tuesday oil on the altar, and Wednesday bread and wine. We are building a new home for the body of Christ. Hope you can join us.